Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is a special one because I'm going to be talking about what my path to law school was like. In fact, I actually had never considered becoming a lawyer when I was a kid. In kindergarten, I wanted to become a firefighter because, I thought firefighters were cool, they were jacked, they were brave, and those are all the things that I wanted to be when I grew up. But as I got into middle school, I decided that I wanted to be an engineer, and my dream was to get into Waterloo Engineering in Canada. But then when I got into high school, I had entered into the IB program at that time, and everyone around me, all my friends, they all wanted to become a doctor, and so naturally, I thought that becoming a doctor was the pinnacle of success, and I wanted to become a doctor too. But then in my final year of undergrad, all that changed. I realized that by some stroke of luck that, law school was the right fit for me, and I applied to law school and the rest was history. So, how did I end up wanting to become a lawyer? Well, my family has been involved in the jewelry business for generations. My parents, they actually never went to college or university. They never had that privilege, but in business, I was able to watch them use their entrepreneurial skills to try and get their own jewelry business off the ground, but for a number of reasons, that never worked out. But regardless, ever since I was a kid, I had a passion for entrepreneurship that was instilled in me, and I never really fully understood that until I became much older. In fact, in undergrad, I chose to study biomedical sciences. On the street, it was known as one of the most difficult programs that you could get into, especially in Ottawa. And for that reason, I was enticed by the challenge. I'm the type of person who thrives off of challenges. I get bored with the easy stuff. And so biomedical sciences seemed very promising to me. It was also known as a pre-med program at the time, and so I knew that if I went through with biomedical sciences, I would be able to learn all of the required material that I needed in order to do well on the MCAT, which is the admissions test for medical school here in Canada. And it didn't help that everyone around me who was in high school idolized becoming a doctor as well. I was in the IB program, and naturally everyone really wanted to go into medical school or engineering. And so because all my friends idolized becoming a doctor, I also did that too, unfortunately. But as I went through with biomedical sciences, I kind of realized that becoming a doctor was not right for me at all. Luckily, in undergrad, there were two things that happened to me which saved me from making the poor decision of doubling down and pulling the trigger when it came to applying to medical school. I had actually bought all of the MCAT books and I had started studying as well, so I was ready to go ahead and apply to med school, but fortunately I didn't make that poor choice. So the first thing that happened to me was that in my third or fourth year of undergrad, I had applied to become a medical scribe with a local hospital here in Ottawa. It's called the QCH, or the Queensway Carleton Hospital, and I didn't make the cut for the job. And the supervising scribe, who was actually evaluating my performance, told me that I wasn't being proactive enough, and that was a major red flag as to the fact that I wasn't really passionate about becoming a doctor at all. The second thing that happened to me was that in undergrad, I actually wanted to start my own medical SaaS company, software as a service company, but I couldn't find the right tools to get started. And so I decided to take a step back and attack the more pressing or systemic issue at hand, which was a lack of funding and mentorship for young entrepreneurs in Ottawa. And that's what I did. I created a startup incubator, a nonprofit startup incubator called Inventure, and I had the opportunity to pitch it to a number of different companies across Ottawa, one of them being Invest Ottawa, another being MindBridge, and another being Google. And so I had the privilege of negotiating terms of sponsorship with these different companies, and it was a fantastic opportunity, and I really enjoyed doing the high stakes negotiations that I was involved with. Negotiating and working with such cool people and companies made me realize that I was really missing out on the interpersonal skills that I'd loved growing up as a kid, watching my parents, try their hand in entrepreneurship. And once I realized that throughout school, my highest grade was always English. It was never math, science, or some other course. It was always English. I realized that maybe, a career in law would be right for me. And once I did some more research, I realized that there was such a thing as corporate law, where I could combine my passion for entrepreneurship with my skills in English, reading and writing. And from there, I applied to law school. I went with the first school that accepted me, which was Unconventional Law School in Toronto. And from there, the rest is history, as they say. Well guys, that's basically my story of how I went from being a science student who initially wanted to apply to med school to becoming a now second-year law student who will be working in corporate law in the very near future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I'll answer them in any way that I can. And I hope you guys look forward to seeing me in the next video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.